In this video, I'm going to continue showing you how to draft the torso foundation pieces, this time for the back bodice and the back skirt. Remember, we are taking our basic set here of the bodice and skirt to combine them into one piece that is called the torso sloper, in order to develop designs that do not have a seam across the waist, so that it's one long full piece. You can use them for dress designs, shirt designs as well, and several others that the book will list. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Got a sheet of paper. Make sure it's long enough to accommodate your bodice back, as well as at least the top 9 inches of what would be the skirt. Now, for the back, our center back straight line is on the left, so I've already struck that long line on here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and kind of shift the camera so that you can see a little bit more. All right, near the bottom, I have squared off a line to indicate my hip level, or also indicated on your pattern the HBL, the horizontal balance line. My origin axis is A, point A, and then across here I would need to take the measurement of my skirt at the HBL line, which, whoops, put my ruler around, which I've already done. On my pattern it came out to be 8 3/4. Please double check that on yours. And then we will add 1/2 inch for some wearing ease. We're incorporating that basic ease into our sloper. If you want more than that ease, you would incorporate that into your design pattern at later stages after you trace these off. So if it's 8 3/4, I put my mark for B at 9 1/4. And then I will square a line up from here up to what is marked for my waistline, which on both my front and back I'm using 9 inches from my hip level up to my waist level. So this is hip, this is waist. All right, and then it has us for finding this point, we will actually use our back piece. I'm going to demonstrate it here just real quick with a piece I've already kind of set up for a slash and spread. When you read through your directions, it will say 2 inches in is where you would have this, basically a slash line, and from that you can slash and spread here. But I'm also going to then demonstrate for my tracing the pivot method, which is also what the book is saying. But remember, when you're pivoting from the point, you're essentially tilting this as if you're slashing and spreading this open. So let's go ahead and get our back bodice piece. Now, the book shows 3 different variations. If you wanted to add some more length to center back, or subtract some more length from center back, less length in center back, you would set this above or below your waistline. And then option 3 is go ahead and set it right on your waistline. That's the one I'm going to follow for our purposes. Setting that there, making sure it's along my center back line. Going to trace it off. Now, you have an option if you want to disperse this shoulder dart in the 3 locations, or just transfer the excess to the armhole. That was demonstrated in your basic pattern making class. It just depends on if you want to just go ahead and get that dart out of your way or not. Okay, I really didn't need to keep tracing my entire arm there. I want to actually lay in my graphing ruler, which is 2 inches wide, long, even with my side seam. Right here is going to be my pivot point, and I am going to pivot till this point reaches the line, kind of like what we did with our fronts. So, and this back piece has a little bit of tape on it, so I'm pivoting till that line, that corner, meets my waistline. Now I will draw my new underarm from the pivot point, and then my new side piece. Okay, so this old one that I did not need the lower part, I'll go ahead and get rid of just so that I don't mix that up. Make sure you've got both your notches. You can indicate your shoulder dart if you choose to leave it there, or you can transfer it out. You just need to go back and check those pages. All right, now for our guidelines and such here. The book has us square off a guideline for the top dart points that will be 1 inch below our armhole. So I am looking through my graphing ruler, making sure that this lower edge that I'll use to draw the line is 1 inch below, and then I'm squared off at my center back. Just strike a guideline across here, kind of light, and then we need a guideline below our waist at 5.5 inches. So I'll mark that, get that in place, make sure it is also squared off to center back, and extend it across there. These are just temporary light lines. Now, the first dart will be positioned, let me check my directions on the book, 3¼ inches from center back. This is 3¼ inches for the center of that dart. The next one will be positioned at 5½ inches from center back. So there's the center of that dart. Now then, at my waistline, that is what I am using to square off the center of each of my darts. So I can draw these, making sure I'm squared off again from tip to toe. And then each of these darts are actually a ½ inch take up on the back. So I'll give it a mark at the waistline because that's my take up points there. And then go ahead and draw in my dart legs real quick. I know we're running short on time on the video. Whoop, I didn't extend that all the way down, but I know where the point is. And there. Making sure that you circle your punch holes at your lower points. Remember, the back skirt always gets longer dart, so will the torso. And then for your side hip here, make sure that you use your variform curve to draw in this curve right here. Okay. Now then you can staple this to a poster board to then cut out on the outer edges. Here is my finished piece. I have marked it with the notation of saying what pattern piece it is, grain line, circling all my punch holes. I did indicate a waist mark for me, just in case I ever need that for design purposes, and my notches. I did put one notch over here, since the bottom is our horizontal balance line. I had actually indicated a notch that was even with the guideline that I have here 5½ inches down. And I can always take my front bodice over here, and these are some things I like to do to check pieces, is to lay this up this direction onto my front. If that notch is already made, I can draw a new notch on my front, so now I'll have some matching points. But I will check this edge here to my front edge. The waist meets at about the right point. And I'm going to slide that over, make a little indicator where one dart leg would end for that, and position up as if my dart were closed as that stitch line, matching that to my underarm seam, and everything matches. So I know that when I cut this out of fabric and sew it up, these two edges will match back up. And now that I've given myself a notch indicator here, I can add that notch so that I have some reference points when using my torso slopers. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little bit, give you a little bit better view of them all together. All right, well, good luck with that. If you have any questions, just please email me, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you. Have a great day.